Let's talk about all the books I read in February. The first book was called Keeper of Enchanted Rooms. I gave this a 3 out of 5 and it's on Kindle Unlimited. I read this for the Goodreads challenge, and this challenge is exposing me to new genres, specifically fantasy, and fantasy is a harder genre for me to get into. I didn't love this book and I didn't hate it. It was just okay, but if you like fantasy, I would recommend this book. The next book was Grave Water Lake. I gave this a 2 out of 5. This was my February first reads choice. The description of the book was way better than the book. The whole entire time I thought this was written in like a past and present perspective, but I was wrong. By chapter 74, I was so confused about what was going on. The chapters after chapter 74 were completely unnecessary. There was a lot of like repetition. Every single time I thought this book was over, it wasn't over. I was not a fan of this book, and this book put me in a reading slump. The next book I read was The Lost Apothecary, and I gave it a 4 out of 5, and it's on Kindle Unlimited. I really enjoyed this book, and I can totally see why it's a fan favorite. The overall story was not what I expected the book to be about. I love how this was written in the past and present perspective, and it was not confusing at all. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a great read, and I also read this for the Goodreads challenge. The fourth book I read was Scythe. I think that's how you say that, in Sparrow. I gave this a 4 out of 5. I thought this was a really good way to end the Ruinous Love trilogy. There was lots of spice in this. I can understand why people don't love this series because it's like the dark comedy romance. It's totally different. I didn't love that there's 2 epilogues and a bonus chapter. I just thought they were not needed at all. But overall, it was a really good read. I enjoyed this one. And then the last book I read was called Curvy Girl Summer, and this is on Kindle Unlimited. This is another book that I read for the Goodreads challenge. I related to the main character, Aaliyah, a lot. Like too much. It was a little scary. I loved how this was written. It was very straight to the point. There was a lot of spice in this book. The very first sentence was spice, and of course I start this book on my break at work. The one thing I did not love about this book was how it ended. It just like ended and fell flat, and I just wished there was more. Tell me what you read in February because I could always use some book recommendations.